Hello, and welcome to this walkthrough of the Podscribe measurement capabilities. The goal of this video is to give you clear orientation of the Podscribe platform so you can understand its features, functionality, and how to use them to drive better marketing outcomes. Podscribe is an omni-channel measurement, attribution, and incrementality platform designed to help advertisers, agencies, and publishers alike make smarter, data-driven decisions. The goal of this platform is simple: to connect your advertising efforts across podcasts and other channels to measurable, actionable results so you can optimize spend and maximize performance. In this session, we'll explore sample campaign data to demonstrate the platform's power, showcasing the range of tools available to help you identify what's working, what's not, and where you may need to improve. The view you see now simulates an active advertiser, our amazing brand 123, where the advertiser has already implemented one of the multiple available methods for sending web-based or app-based conversion data to Podscribe, enabling accurate and comprehensive measurement. When you first log into the overview, under the Campaigns tab, at a glance you'll see high-level metrics like our total spend, our impressions, our unique reach, our frequency. We'll also have that breakdown of those impressions by the different channels. So here we see podcasts, Spotify's SAI, streaming audio, and YouTube. I will mention that there's also the ability to have display, video, OTT or CTV as another channel measured in this omni-channel view. Going down the funnel, we see attributable events like visitors, signups, conversions. These are going to be flexible to whatever KPI or event that the advertiser wants to track across the site, as well as down funnel events within the app. We can toggle on these additional events, and you'll see them represented in the graph here to the right. And we can start to identify the trends in correlations between impressions by channels and the downstream attributable events. We can also hover on these particular conversion events to model or showcase what does the conversion rate over time look like, or what does the cost per conversion look like over the course of the campaign. The next, probably the first aspect when getting an advertiser onboarded is to ensure that the attribution settings are aligned to their preferences and how they're measuring other channels as well. So this gear icon in the top right will expand the attribution settings and allow us to make some of those adjustments to make sure that Podscribe is measuring the impressions and conversions in accordance with that brand preference. Here you'll see that we have multiple different attribution models. So by default, we use a multi-touch time decay. We have first touch, last touch, multi-touch, and multi-touch time decay. The first two are fairly straightforward. Multi-touch gives an equal distribution of credit across all placements. So if I'm the consumer, heard 4 ads, and then I converted, each would get 0.25 credit for my one conversion. Multi-touch time decay weights that along the timeline of exposure. So the ad that I heard 30 days ago is going to get the smallest amount of credit. The ad that I heard yesterday and then converted is going to get the largest amount of credit for that share of one. We also have the ability to enable or disable toggles like modeling for public space IP addresses. These will be things like commercial buildings, cell towers, universities, government buildings, IP addresses that could be a many-to-many match that we can't use with confidence. We also have modeling and adjustable weighting for simulcast environments. So if the podcast has a YouTube video or a Rumble video or a Spotify for video, you can adjust the attribution weighting here just by sliding this slider. The attribution settings are also flexible from a conversion window standpoint, where by default we have 30 days for podcasts, 14 days for streaming. But if the brand knows that there's a longer conversion cycle for their particular product or service, we can extend those, giving consumers up to 60 days to take an action after they've been exposed to an ad. And you'll see that the counts down below are updated in real time to reflect that adjusted attribution window. Finally, there's also controls to update and adjust exclusions, so excluding prior customers or prior visitors, or if the brand has a significant Facebook or Instagram campaign. These conversions are being represented as 3,000 consumers heard the audio ad and then navigated to Facebook directly before landing on the advertiser's website. So we can exclude those from counting to the performance of the campaigns that we're tracking here with these exclusions by refer or UTM source codes. I skipped over incrementality, but this is also another premium feature that allows us to identify how many of these conversions are net new, or in other words, would not have taken place without the impact of this campaign. We create a synthetic lookalike control group and measure the difference between the two groups, the exposed and the control, to identify the subset of conversions that are driving incremental impact for the advertiser. So with this enabled, you'll notice that we've got a little gold arrow, which is also going to be represented everywhere across the dashboard. And that essentially means that these counts are being expressed through the lens of incremental performance. So we can see that now 19,000 conversions were incremental or isolated to the impact of this campaign. We also have that view down below for placements, the shows, the publishers, to see which different data cuts are moving the needle for the advertiser. You can also update and save a different profile for each advertiser view, or if you're working with multiple views in a given campaign, you can easily swap between those attribution settings. So if this top portion, we've got the ability to look at performance by the past 3 months, these standard timeframes. You can also do a custom time frame or look at a particular week to drill down into a more granular view. You can toggle by hour, by day, by week, or month to view the trend of that performance over the course of that time frame. The top portion gives us insight into how this campaign or how these placements are performing in aggregate, and the portion down below is going to give us insight and answers into why we may be seeing that performance. So very easily I can come in here and filter to see which placements are giving us the strongest visitation rate or the strongest conversion rate. We can also look at the different reporting views to look at performance by show. So if you're running a run of network and passing through a show ID, we can break that performance out by the individual shows within that run of network. Performance by publisher. Audience is a relatively new reporting view with our integration with TransUnion's segmentation data to see, are there certain audience profiles or consumer types that are resonating well and converting very efficiently. So here we can see I've got the performance index sorted on conversions, highest to lowest, and we see that there are some more premium car owners that are converting very efficiently. So we've served 35,000 impressions to households that own or drive a Porsche, reaching 16,000 unique households with that characteristic, and they make up 156 of our total conversions with a conversion rate of 0.4416. So these actionable insights across demographics, psychographics, and behavioral and attitudinal profiles will allow you to make smarter targeting decisions on future campaigns. Another useful view is going to be the overlap to look at the unique audience that you're reaching across channels, publishers, campaigns, and shows. And reading through some of these metrics, we'll be able to see how many households were we reaching on this particular publisher, how many of them were unique to that publisher, and what is the net new reach that I'm gaining when running with that particular publisher. The path report is also super helpful in seeing how quickly consumers are taking action after they've been exposed to the ad. So I can expand this and showcase that with that 30-day attribution window applied, 15% of the conversions are happening in the first 24 hours for Spotify, for example. And this graph gives a great illustration of that long tail of site activity after the ads have been delivered. I won't go through each and every one of these tabs just because there's so many, but a few other useful ones are going to be things like looking at performance by geo, which countries, regions, DMAs, cities, or zip codes are driving the strongest performance, and how can we use that insight for optimizing future campaigns. Category or genre is also another great tool to identify, are there certain types of shows or genres of shows that are driving a strong visitation or conversion rate that we should be considering and finding new podcasts to include on an upcoming campaign. All of these tables here are also downloadable and exportable. I can download this table as a CSV. These columns are also adjustable, so if I wanted to include or exclude any of the metrics that you see down below, just to make the view a little bit more specific and pointed to my goals and objectives, we can add and toggle on those additional data variables, move them around in order to have the most efficient view for understanding performance. Finally, there's the ability to schedule these reports. You can generate a one-off report. You can schedule a by campaign or placement report in aggregate for a particular time frame, or you can have it broken out by day or by week or by month. All of these reports can also be automated and scheduled to hit your inbox or your team's inbox or your client's inbox at a set cadence. If you wanted to generate this on a daily basis or on a weekly basis, all of that can be easily scheduled within the tool, as well as the ability to schedule those reports via API. Really powering making those smarter marketing decisions, leveraging this data with our research data or our planner are going to be great use cases in order to weed through all of the granular insights and make smarter decisions for upcoming flights or campaigns. And that is the Podscribe dashboard in a nutshell. We've reviewed those high-level metrics for monitoring that campaign health, the flexible attribution settings for aligning to brand objectives, the granular insights that we have across all of the different reporting views. And if there's ever any questions, we have a great team with our ad ops at podscribe.com that are always available to answer questions, help troubleshoot, or help you get to the level of information or data that you're looking to through the tool. We look forward to your partnership and any questions that you guys would have. Thank you.